Well, Aussie-listed company Recce Pharmaceuticals has unveiled extensive expansion of its clinical program across multiple infectious diseases. CEO James Graham is here to tell us more live at the desk. James, great to have your company this afternoon.
Good to be here.
Well, give us a little bit of an update on what has come out today, especially in the context of some of these, well, I suppose I phrase it, these new infectious diseases that you've established treatments for.
Absolutely. I mean, we're in a world of infectious disease crisis. The cellular reproduction or evolution is changing around us. We're actually the most advanced clinical stage candidate for sepsis, septicemia or blood poisoning. And having just got to the end of our phase 1 intravascular study program, we've had the insights of being not only safe and well tolerated, but actually having a very high concentration in a dose-dependent manner gathering in the human bladder. And that bodes very well to urinary tract infections, as well as, of course, being a safe and potentially efficacious drug.
Yeah, can I just ask that one on septicemia, because obviously it's a quick-moving, devastating, and anyone who's lost someone to it knows that it's a very unpleasant and quick way to lose one's life. What are the potential patient outcomes from this particular drug or antibiotic, is it, that you might be able to achieve?
Yeah, look, it's a new class of antibiotic. In fact, the first in over 40 years. We just returned from giving the opening R&D address at the World AMR Congress, so Congress to fight antimicrobial resistance, and we're really positioned as a sign of new hope in that area. But blood poisoning effectively is where anybody has a break in the skin. It can be you or me. It doesn't discern between healthy or unhealthy. In fact, I've been a sepsis patient after a unfortunate event with a dog one day, where the bacteria gets into your blood, and for every hour you don't untreat it, that likelihood of survival decreases by 8% each hour. And existing antibiotics are if this then that. They don't work as an ability to have a broad spectrum roadblock type approach. So ours is designed to overcome that hypercellular mutation, be administered at patient presentation with confidence that it will work and keep on working with repeated use, something that all existing antibiotics just seem no longer able to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. I would love to talk about the commercial impacts of the business in a second. Just one more question just about the science behind it, I suppose, which is, of course, we hear these sort of doomsday calls of antibiotic resistance, that the old-fashioned stuff won't work anymore and we're much more vulnerable as communities and individuals in the future. I mean, is this kind of technology like at the forefront of addressing that problem? I mean, where's the science at when it comes to this?
Look, it is. I mean, I remember the days where I'd go to the doctor, only so many years ago, and they'd say, take this prescription and you'll get better. Now you go back for perhaps the same infection, and it's not only take this prescription, but take the follow-on repeats to overcome that same infection. And the reason for that is the infection or the bacteria mutating, getting ahead, and the antibiotics are not. So a new class of antibiotic, as ours is able to overcome that hypercellular mutation, work against a broad spectrum range of infectious diseases, because of any bacteria in the blood is bad bacteria. And for a sepsis patient, the average healthcare cost, in fact, is around $100,000 per patient. So where it's the most expensive pharma economic burden to hospitals and to the community, you have great context as a drug positioned as an unmet medical need, meaning not against generics, in fact not against service by any existing antibiotics, to not only have a sign of new hope in the fight against superbugs, but a positive impact for patients and clinicians alike.
So as far as the commercial elements here, I would imagine the market is extraordinarily large and the potential demand is huge. I mean, is that just a fairly fair characterisation of that?
Look, it is. To put a fine point on it, you're looking at around 30 million people worldwide each year for sepsis, by example. It's growing at around, I believe, 5% per annum. And in fact, it currently has a 1 in 5 death rate among the community and a 1 in 3 death rate in hospitals. So a large patient population, a significant economic cost, and then of course, not serviced by existing antibiotics is commercially very attractive. But utilising that same formulation for diabetic foot ulcers, topical burn wound infections, potentially UTI treatments may just look to the world as a new class of anti-infective rather than just one antibiotic.
Yeah, certainly. And just in terms of the social benefit, of course, there's going to be the business potential benefit to Recce, but also the potential social benefit for the country broadly, just in terms of lost productivity, the economic impacts.
Absolutely.
Can you outline how significant they can be from just some of the conditions you've outlined here?
Oh, look, I think the economic impact is clear, but the social impact, Almost daily, we're contacted by patients who are still among us, but the typical method of treatment, if the antibiotic is not working and the infection is moving up the arm, in fact is quite barbaric. It is quite literally amputation. So they'll be saying, look, every few months I have to go back on this course of antibiotics. It just prolongs my existence, but I'm having terrible side effects. I've lost mobility, I'm so on and so forth. We've demonstrated an excellent safety and tolerability profile and an ability to work against a broad range, because sometimes where you get a biofilm or a hypermutated superbug, the prognosis generally isn't very good.
No, again, like I said off the top, I have heard of some pretty devastating stories there. But just last question, and just to leave things off on just, I guess, another commercial note, which is, what will this impact be for the business from here, I suppose, from a bottom line perspective, and the benefits that could go to shareholders, and how does that affect the strategy going forward, and what is that strategy?
We are really achieving key milestones. In the context of, in our last quarterly, we announced about $15 million cash at bank. The capital has been deployed for that phase 1 intravascular study, well ahead of that, so we're seeing the results of that coming through, having achieved the primary endpoints. The topical burn wound program is sponsored by the West Australian government, so it doesn't cost us much, where the results obviously generate the upside, and diversifying across major unmet medical need patient populations in UTIs and other significant infectious diseases gives that upside opportunity whilst reducing our downside. And with a good cash position, it's really a stage of news flow and we believe positivity. So we're pleased to be delivering on our objectives, and we're looking forward to the time ahead.